After 4 long months of waiting, Fanatec finally releases the CSL Loadcell kit. This was a highly desired add-on for the new generation of the CSL pedal sets. Just like the pedal set it installs to, the CSL Loadcell changes quite dramatically in terms of its design. With this redesign, can it fill the shoes of the pedal set it replaces? Let's find out. But before finding out, the necessary disclaimer. Both the Loadcell and the pedal set were sent by Fanatec for review. I also have an affiliate link below if you want to help the channel out. Regardless of that, all opinions you're going to see in this video are 100% my own. Fanatec does not know about my opinions and they are not interfering with the review process. But as always, take this review with a grain of salt. The new CSL pedals without the Loadcell were kind of lacking. They are a good set, but Trustmaster has significantly increased the pressure at this price point. With the TLCM readily available, not having a Loadcell would definitely impact the choice of pedals, as it was said in the review, which you can see in the card above. It's a usually recommended watch. With the Loadcell finally coming out, it should balance things out more or less, though there are some important changes in its design and features to be mentioned, so pay attention to these. Just like the CSL pedal set, it is built out of a pearl chromed heavy-duty steel. The Loadcell is a 60 kilo Loadcell with 12-bit resolution. It comes pre-installed with a non-changeable 65 Shore hardness rubber set. Just like all Fanatec pedals, it may be connected via an RJ12 to pretty much all modern and discontinued wheelbases of Fanatec, so the CSL Elite, the CSWs, to anything available right now. This way it can be used in the console through the wheelbase. Alternatively, on the PC, you may use the USB, which is my preferred method. And as always, only connect one or the other, never both. The standalone price for the Loadcell is €139.95 or dollars, or if you decide to buy it with a bundle, as in you get the pedals and the Loadcell, it's €199.95 or dollars. That is quite a significant drop in terms of price since the CSL Elite Loadcell, but with that downgrade of price, also, there are some downgrade features. For example, the old CSL Elite Loadcell had a 90 kilo Loadcell at 16-bit resolution, and you also had multiple rubbers to choose from. In this case, you were not getting the same thing. There's only a 60 kilo Loadcell, and the rubbers are not changeable. What you get is what you're seeing. Installing the Loadcell is as easy as installing the pedal set. Just align the bolts to the holes you want the Loadcell to be mounted in, follow the cable routing instructions presented in the manual so it can be correctly wired. Then it's time to remove the rubber from the old brake pedal that will now become the clutch, and then finally just mount it to the rig or wheel stand of choice you have. With the Loadcell, they can be used on the ground if you have something heavy behind, otherwise the pedals will move. I would recommend to use the CSLs in this case in a wheel stand or rig unless you are willing to use the Loadcell in a very low setting. To change the Loadcell setup, this is done via Fanatec software, where the Loadcell can be configured from 10 to 60 kilo. It's also here that the rest of the pedals are configured. For example, if you want to add some sort of dead zone, and in my case, in my pedal set, I had to have about a 7% dead zone in both the throttle and the clutch. Despite the technical downgrade, the Loadcell it's pretty good for what it tends to be. The braking is super precise, and the rubber even at 65 Shore seems to have a good deal of resistance. The 4 rubber sections give enough travel as well as a decent resistance. It doesn't leave me wanting for a harder compound when using it. Fanatec decided for this generation of Loadcells to move the Loadcell to the bottom of the pedal rather than the top as it was in the previous set, and this seems to make it more reliable to use and predict. The Loadcell max rating should satisfy most, though I must say that I would much rather have something that was higher rated than have the option to lower the brake force as needed. I find that is somewhat easy to saturate the Loadcell at just 60 kilo, but then again I'm coming from the heavy and long use of a V3 pedal set and the older CSL Elite. Once the muscle memory is sorted, using this Loadcell is pretty sweet. The braking is super predictable and the heel toe action is pretty good. So for most use cases it should be okay. The throttle and clutch pedals have more or less the same resistance as the previous CSL Elite pedals, a light throttle and a well-weighted clutch. In its globality, the CSL pedal set ends up fixing the Achilles heel of the previous set by installing Hall sensors, and with the inclusion of the Loadcell, the price is dropped quite significantly, while the prices of everything nowadays are going up. Even so, the issue with this pedal set is twofold. The shadow of its former and older brother, that in some cases was more sophisticated, and the Trustmaster TLCM that has a 100 kilo load cell with multiple spring choices at around the same price, so essentially it does have really good competition. The CSL load cell is a great choice if you want to keep yourself within the Fanatec ecosystem. You want to use this as your load cell kit or your main pedal kit. You want to use this on the consoles, or you want something that has everything, as all the main features of a good pedal set, and it's reliable and also well built. With the load cell finally available after so many months of waiting, I would recommend you forget about the clutch kit, just spend a little more money in this. You'll get something that is way better. For me, this is an excellent pedal set. It's a bit of a shame about the downgrades.